Welcome to our webinar, Visiting Lubbock. My name is Christine Self, Director for Family Outreach and Engagement with Parent and Family Relations, and I'll serve as the moderator for today's session. This webinar is part of our Parent and Family webinar series, where we'll share important information on topics of interest to Red Raider families. With us today is Catherine White, Director of Marketing and Communications with Visit Lubbock. We are excited to have all of you joining us today. We hope that this webinar will provide you with great ideas for things to do while you're visiting your Red Raider, either during family weekend or any other time that you choose to visit. Speaking of family weekend, that's coming up on October 28th and 29th, so make plans to attend if you haven't already. Today, you'll also learn about some of the wonderful things the City of Lubbock has to offer you and your student. We should have some time at the end of the presentation for you to ask questions using the Zoom Q&A feature. We are recording this session and posting it to our website so that you'll be able to review it again later or share with others. I'll also email the recording link to the email that you used to register for the webinar. Now that the fall semester has begun, it's time to start thinking about planning a visit to Lubbock to see your student. What are some fun things you can do during your visit? Let's find out. I'll now turn it over to Catherine from Visit Lubbock.
Thank you, Christine. Hello, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Stop sharing mine. Hold on just a second. Now you should be able to.
Perfect. All right. Does it look good? Everybody can see it? Start the presentation. Perfect. Are we good? Okay. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here with you today and to chat about Lubbock. Just a little bit about myself. So as Christine mentioned, my name is Catherine White. I am on the marketing team here at Visit Lubbock and LEDA. We also have another kind of umbrella organization called Market Lubbock. So we do everything for promoting tourism, for leisure travel, meetings travel, sports travel, as well as marketing Lubbock as a destination or a place, rather, I guess, for businesses to expand and promoting our local businesses to stay and grow, as well as our students and young professionals to move back and to call Lubbock home. So a little bit about myself. I am originally from Rockwall, Texas, which is just east of Dallas. I attended Texas Tech back in, let's say I graduated in 13, which is kind of crazy to say, but graduated in 13 with a bachelor's degree in journalism, and then went on to get my master's at Tech in mass communication. So I've been back in Lubbock for a while now. My husband is from Lubbock. I have a 2-year-old daughter and expecting a little boy this November. So we love calling Lubbock home. And to be quite honest, while I was in school, I didn't explore the city as much as I wish I had. That's one thing, you know, once you get on campus, it's easy to kind of stay in and around campus because there's so much there and so much to experience. But Lubbock itself is a great destination to visit, as well as to call home. My hope during this presentation is I really would love to get to questions if anybody has any, but I'm going to go over a little bit about Lubbock as far as what you can experience, maybe some tips and tricks as far as traveling to Lubbock. And then we can go into life in Lubbock and what your student might experience, or some things you can encourage them to do, as well as events and different things like that. So as you can tell already, there's a lot to cover in a very short time. But like Christine mentioned, she'll give you my email address. Please feel free to email me any questions you have. We're so thrilled that your student chose Texas Tech and is going to be in Lubbock. So we're welcome or excited to welcome you to Lubbock. So happy answering questions. Okay. So if you are not familiar with Lubbock, Texas or West Texas, we are in the Panhandle. I'm sure you've visited with your student. You probably noticed that it's relatively easy to travel to Lubbock. We're called the Hub City. So if you look at us on a map, we're called the Hub City for many reasons, but the city itself almost looks like the spoke of a wheel. So Interstate 27 comes through. Obviously, we have Lubbock Preston Smith International Airport, so it's a quick 50-minute flight to Dallas, Austin. Several direct flights come in and out of Lubbock. We do have Southwest, American, and United that all fly in, so great connectivity. I mentioned Lubbock is the hub city. So we are a town of roughly about 260,000 residents. One thing that's kind of interesting, though, in regards to visitors, we get about 6 million visitors a year. And so the reason we're called the hub city, in addition to obviously looking like the spoke of a wheel, is a lot of people from eastern New Mexico, throughout the Panhandle, and even into some parts of Oklahoma come to Lubbock for shopping, for entertainment, for food. It really is the hub of the region. So while we have 260,000 residents, like I mentioned, we have, about 6 million visitors a year. The region itself actually serves a population closer actually to like 700,000. So one thing you'll find as you're traveling to Lubbock is we kind of have those bigger city amenities with that small town feel. A good example is, we have a cheesecake factory, we have an Alamo Drafthouse Cinema, some of those nicer offerings that, like I said, larger cities can have, but we aren't quite as large as some other cities in Texas. Food, what everyone is always excited about and eager to learn where to go eat and what to do. So for food, we have everything from great barbecue that's been named in Texas Monthly. You'll see in the top left, Evie Mae's. They have been ranked as one of the top 10 spots in Texas Monthly. They hit in the top 10 whenever they do their publication for the barbecue joints throughout Texas. They're a great location to get some barbecue. We have Tom and Bingo's, we have Hill Barbecue. There's plenty of places for you to get your Texas brisket when you're traveling. Obviously, pizza is a huge favorite of college students. There's lots of great pizza places like Capital Pizza or One Guy's or Dario's Pizza throughout the city for you to catch. We also have some great international cuisine. So that's what you see on your far right. Thai pepper is close to Tech. That's a local favorite. There's also some great food trucks that offer pho and different Thai cuisine. Vizo's is actually a traditional African cuisine, which is in the bottom right. And then just traditional, coffees and other, burgers and whatnot. So if you have any specific questions for food, I'm happy to answer that. I will get to in a second our website, which you can request a visitor guide that kind of details all of the different options for food while you're dining in Lubbock that you can check out. So attractions and things to do. Lubbock has numerous events that happen throughout the year, which I can get into here in just a little bit, but just in regards to visiting the city and experiencing kind of all that the city has to offer, there's plenty of adventure and kind of fun attractions that you can see. So we have like paintball, axe throwing, adventure park, that's on the bottom center screen right there. We have Four Golf, which is very similar to Top Golf. There's another destination called The Range, which is I'm not a golfer, but it's, you can hit like kind of like long range, and they have great pizza and whatnot. If you're wanting to get outdoors, we are very close to, the picture on the top right is SUP LBK, so you can do stand-up paddleboarding. We also have a Buffalo Springs Lake, which is very close. You can go fishing or camping or hiking there. Cap Rock Canyon is also very close to Lubbock, so you can go kind of get outdoors and go hiking, as well as Powder Canyon, which is actually the second largest canyon in the United States. That's just to the north of Lubbock. Again, not a long drive, but a great option for hiking. So in regards to attractions, Lubbock has several museums that you can check out while you're here. So we have the American Windmill Museum, which is the largest collection of windmills in the world. We have the National Ranching Heritage Center, which is, it kind of tells the story of ranching in Texas. They have more than 50 structures that have been relocated throughout the state, and they're they're arranged and told in chronological order, kind of the evolution of ranching. That's a great exhibit to check out. They actually do a really fun event called Candlelight at the Ranch every December, where they have people inside the structures and they're experiencing Christmas like they would during that time period. One interesting thing actually about the National Ranching Heritage Center, if you're a fan of Yellowstone in 1883, they actually have an 1883 exhibit right now that I believe is running until August of 2023. But you might check that date check on that date for me. But anyways, they have a lot of the costumes from 1883 and photos and whatnot that you could check out. We have Bayer Museum of Agriculture. Obviously, this region, I didn't get into it too much. Like I said, I wear a few different hats. I can definitely talk about the different industries that Lubbock is kind of known for, but this region is obviously very prominent agriculture region. So we do have the Bayer Museum of Agriculture that you can go and explore. One thing that is kind of interesting that feeds into that is obviously whatever industries are prominent within your city. A lot of the times that, that's going to be reflective of the businesses and the offerings of jobs for your students. So if you haven't heard, Lubbock was selected by Leprino Foods, which is a large mozzarella manufacturing company. It's a private company out of Colorado. They are actually investing about $1 billion in Lubbock. They're going to create just over 600 jobs. If you have not heard of the Leprino Foods, you probably consumed their cheese. A lot of the to-go pizza joints use their mozzarella cheese. I say all that to say, obviously, agriculture being a huge component of Lubbock's economy feeds into, pun intended, I guess, feeds into the offerings of jobs, great, good paying jobs for students should they choose to remain in Lubbock after they graduate. Let's see here. Okay, so let's get into a few events. So for the fall specifically, some of these events may just be your kiddo wanting to check out, or some of them may fall over a weekend when you might be visiting. But there's a place called Addledew Farms. They have a corn maze that's a lot of fun. A lot of people love to go out there and take pictures, and you can go out with a bunch of friends and explore the corn maze. They have a different design for every year. And so that's always a fun way to kind of kick off the fall. South Plains Fairgrounds, as you can see in the top left, everyone loves a good turkey leg, but that happens every year. That's a great event. For the parents when they're visiting, one thing you may not know about Lubbock is we're actually wine country out here. The High Plains AVA, as it's known, grows about 85% of Texas wine grapes. So a lot of the Texas wine that you might have tried in other cities, the grapes are actually grown in this region. Again, we're a huge agriculture city. But as you're visiting, there are numerous wineries, 7+, I believe, that you could visit while you're here. We also have about 5 breweries in the city. Craft breweries are really kind of on the rise in Lubbock. A lot of them actually being started by people that are returning to Lubbock to live. So there's lots of great options for the parents when they're visiting for that. In regards to another fall event, Jab Fest, Josh Abbott Band, and that's a big music performance that happens every fall. It's pretty popular. People love to, students usually go to that. Ballet Lubbock actually performs in Buddy Holly Hall, which I'll talk about here in just a second. They have a performance of the Nutcracker every year that you see on your bottom right that has always been phenomenal, but now, you know, with it being in Buddy Holly Hall, it's a new performing arts center that we have in downtown. It's just absolutely magical. So that's a fun thing to check out in early December. And I mentioned Candlelight the Ranch at the National Ranch and Heritage Center, and then Carol of the Lights, obviously, on Tech's campus is always a lot of fun. In regards to what you could check out just any weekend while you're here, like I mentioned, 1883 exhibit is going to be up until next year. First Friday Art Trail is also another event that happens on the first Friday of every month in the Arts District in downtown Lubbock. Thousands of people come to First Friday Art Trail. There's art exhibits, there's food trucks, there's live music. There's just a lot of culture that you can experience, especially just during that night, that Friday night. And it's a great look into the art scene of Lubbock. So, and then as far as musical performances, you guys may be familiar, obviously Lubbock is the home of Buddy Holly. So we're a huge music destination. We've got great music venues that have performances. A few of them include Cactus Theater. Like I mentioned, the Buddy Holly Hall, they, I'll speak about that in a little bit, but they've got some Broadway performances. And then there's a venue called Cook's Garage, and they just hosted Midland a few weekends ago. But they have like Cody Johnson coming and several other different performers. And we have a good range of genres of music for your student. So this is Buddy Holly Hall. So I'm going to check my time. This is Buddy Holly Hall. It is in the Arts District of downtown Lubbock. I will try to share a video because I don't think I'm going to be able to show it. But it's a video about downtown Lubbock. So our downtown has been going through a huge revitalization. This project itself is about $155 million, I believe, privately funded. And so there's two theaters. Both of them are NC15, which is a noise criterion 15. It's the perfect noise criterion you can have for a performing arts theater. It's similar to Carnegie or Bass Hall. So with that being said, we are able to host Broadway performances. So the main theater will be welcoming Dear Evan Hansen, Hamilton next year. Got a great lineup if you want to check out their website for all of those different shows. They also have some comedians coming. Tim Allen, I think, is coming this fall, as well as Kevin James. So again, this kind of just feeds into the idea of people traveling for these performances because they are such high caliber performances, and being here in West Texas it serves a lot of the population of this part of the state. So I believe that's all I was going to say about Buddy Holly Hall. The video I'll send a link to is just about downtown in general. Downtown's broken into kind of three sections. So there's the Arts District at the north, the central part is the Business District, and the southern part is the Depot District. And the Depot District is where the Buddy Holly Center is, which is the museum to his life. That's where the glasses that were recovered at the crash, that's where those are, as well as other memorabilia from his life. It's also where the Cactus Theater is. There's a restaurant called Triple J's. McPherson Cellars is in the Depot District. There's a lot of culture throughout downtown that you can experience. So let's see here. Yeah, so the last thing I kind of just wanted to talk about was, in the same vein of experiencing Lubbock, one thing that, is important to us is to make sure that obviously your student enjoys their experience here at Tech. We also want them to enjoy life in Lubbock. And so any way that we can do that, we're happy to connect them, whether it's an internship or if they're just wanting to learn more about the city, we're always a resource for them. Let me, if you don't mind, I'm going to exit out of this, and then I am watching. Okay, I'm going to go through the website very quickly, and then I want to take as many questions as I can possibly get to. So this is visitlubbock.org. When you land on it, you can kind of scroll and just see more kind of engaging content. Oh, yes.
If you can change your share, we're still seeing the PowerPoint.
Oh, sorry. I wonder.
Technology is fun, right?
Let's see. Resume share. Is that? Let me see if.
I think you just need to change. You may have your screen shared instead of just the website.
Stopped as the share window is closed. Let's see here. Can you see it now?
Yes. Perfect.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Sorry, my apologies. This is visitlubbock.org. So quick and easy places that you'll probably want to go to. Events page. That's where obviously you can see all that's going on. And we are actually adding another tab under here that'll be annual events. So you can see you know, what are pretty consistent events. And then if you want to see more detailed events there, you can. If you go to inspiration, which we are kind of changing this around, so it'll eventually say blog, but this is our blog. We do have a lot of different types of content on here because we do attract meeting planners and group planners and sports planners and military planners and everyone. And so there is stuff that your student might be interested in, but there might be something that a meeting planner might be interested in as well. But as you can see, we have, you know, upcoming performances. We do like a monthly Hub City happenings so they can see kind of what's going on. And then there's also like great local stuff as well. So you can see, you know, a college seniors guide to Lubbock freshmen. This is a new brewery that's opened. So yeah, there's lots of great content on our blogs page. Another thing I would really encourage you to check out, this is obviously our feed from social, is our social channels. So I would really encourage you to follow us on, for sure, Facebook and Instagram, but if you use any others like TikTok, we're on TikTok. And that's always just sharing, again, content that's coming up or interesting things that you could check out whenever you're here. I think that's about it that I was hoping to kind of cover.
Catherine?
Yes.
Would you be able, we are getting a lot of questions in the chat or in the Q&A about where they can find the restaurants that you mentioned. Could you maybe show them some of the restaurants and some of the things, how they can find those on your site?
Yeah, definitely. So if you want to, you can always go to, let's see, the blog has a lot of really great content. Like I think we saw like there was a seafood one, but I think there was like a barbecue place. Anytime you have any questions about like let's say, hopefully it doesn't make me regret. Yeah, like if you want, you know, good coffee, or like we usually try to do roundups. So here's like a 7 must-try coffee shops in Lubbock, or if there's a barbecue spot, or if you're wanting international cuisine, we have like an international eats blog. And again, I would definitely encourage you to follow us on our social channels. And anytime you have any questions, like I said, feel free to email me. But if you want to message us on social, that would be a quick way to get a recommendation for food. Another great way is if you go to visitlubbock.org and scroll down our visitor guide. Our team actually produces this in-house. So this is a completely curated from us. There are no ads in this guide. It is completely and totally spreads. We create listings and whatnot. You can download the digital version and start kind of exploring now and planning now. Or if you want us to send you one, we're happy to send you one. McKenna from our team will mail those out. So if you want to do that, you can. If you don't want to fill out this request for a visitor guide, you can just send me an email and say, hey, can you send a visitor guide to this address? And we'll get one sent over to you. But I referenced this because it just has, okay, I might have a little bit of time to go through it. It just has a lot of really great, and again, local information. So if you're looking for like a Cheesecake Factory or something, it's probably not going to be in here. And this is obviously a booklet, and so it kind of looks funny right now. But like this is one of our spreads called Caffeine Fix. So we have, some fun coffees you might order, and it lists where you're going to get the cup of coffee. And then it also lists for more coffee spots, the listings page for the guide. So there's a lot of fun content. Here's some public art. I didn't get to mention Tex Tech Public Art Collection is a great thing to check out. We have a spread in our visitor guide called Foodie Faves. So this is where we pick out like 5 dishes in Lubbock that you might want to try. So one of them is Dirk's, their fried chicken in downtown. We try to include, a good variety as far as like international cuisine or gluten-free or vegetarian cuisine. And we list out kind of what everything is and where you can find it. And again, there's the listings page. So that's kind of a quick reference of where you might be able to find some of that information. What other questions do you have?
Yeah, we would love to hear your questions. Please use the Q&A feature found in Zoom, and we'll try to get those answered for you. I definitely want to thank Catherine. Catherine, if you wouldn't mind stopping sharing for just a minute, I've got a couple more slides I'd like to show at the end.
Yes.
Awesome. So bring us your questions. While people are thinking, one question one comment that we get a lot from families or even from students is, they just feel like can you all see my screen now?
Yes, you can see it.
I'm sorry.
Yes, I can see.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So we get the comment, there's nothing to do in Lubbock. The students will say that to their families. What are maybe 2 or 3 things that you would recommend families tell their students to get out and try as a Texas Tech student in the community?
So, like I said, when I was in college, I think the biggest thing is just knowing what is going on. Because, in that concern is, when people say that, they often just don't know of what is going on. Because usually there's almost live music every night of the week. And like I'd mentioned, there's plenty of events happening throughout the year to check out. But in regards to maybe a few things they may want to do, I would say going down to the range is a lot of fun. Even if you aren't a big, golfer, it's a great place just to kind of go out and hang out with your friends. And it's dog friendly, and they've got food and whatnot. That's a great place to check out for golf. And also, like I mentioned, similar to Top Golf, that's a lot of fun. There's a lot of great coffee shops to go grab some coffee or, get something to eat. The weather here is really nice, and so I would really encourage anything outdoors is always a great option. Like I mentioned, those places that you could go hiking, or Sub LBK to go stand up paddleboarding. I would definitely say as well, there's a lot of great movie theaters here. So like Alamo Drafthouse, as I mentioned, you can catch some good movies. There's a lot of dog parks here. As well as museums and art galleries. And like I said, I really would encourage you to look at our fall events, because there's more often than not, something happening every weekend, whether it's a barbecue festival or like I said, the corn maze starts up in I think 2 weeks, or a music festival. We actually have some interns that we have the privilege of working with here on our marketing team. And a lot of the times what I hear is, wow, I didn't know about that. I didn't hear about that. And so our biggest charge is we're trying to, get in front of the students more and engage with them more. We made something specific in our visitor guide this year that's like a freshman 15. So it's like a checklist of things that, freshmen might want to check out while they're here in Lubbock. And some of those meaning like our drive-through, we have Stars and Stripes drive-through theater, getting fried cheese at Spanky's, or going to Jab Fest or the Corn Maze or First Friday Art Trail, things like that. So the biggest thing I would just say is to really encourage your students to go to visit Lubbock and ask questions, like ask what's going on, because we're trying to do a good job in presenting all the information, but there's always something to do here. The city is experiencing incredible growth. That's a whole other topic I could go on. I know we're over, but we do marketing for, like I said, the Economic Development Office, and the city is just growing so much. So there's always something to do. A little note on hotels. If you are having a difficult time finding hotel availabilities, always feel free to call our office and we can see if we can help try to find you any available rooms if it seems to be a sold out weekend.
We've got 2 really quick questions I think we can answer pretty quickly. And then after that, feel free to continue to type your questions. We may stop the webinar, but we can continue to answer your questions behind the scenes. But first, one question we have here: is there any place that highlights Mac Davis, another famous musician? And I know, and Catherine, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't there a statue downtown that has a number of the famous musicians and other artists from Lubbock?
Yes, so right across the street from Buddy Holly Center, there is the West Texas Walk of Fame. That's a great place to go check out the incredible talent that comes from Lubbock or the West Texas region. And those artists, Mac Davis is featured there. But those artists also actually span a spectrum from, maybe a sculpturist to a performing artist, singer. So yeah, that gives a good glimpse into the talent that's come from this region.
And then one other question we have here before we'll end our presentation. I love the honesty in this. Says, my kid wants his car, LOL. I said, not the first year. What do you recommend? Uber is killing his funds. I know that students can ride the city bus free of charge with their ID. However, I believe that service ends fairly early in the evening. So Catherine, you may have some other ideas, but I say make friends, go out and do expeditions together, share costs. I know that there's also Raider Ride, which is a $5 ride service to get students home if they've been out late at night. That goes from 6 p.m. to maybe about 2 a.m. So that's another option, but I say make friends, get out there, find somebody who's got a friend that has a car and share gas expenses. And that's a good opportunity to make friends.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. If you're not wanting to send the car for him or her, I would definitely say make friends. But actually, you know what? I don't know if they have a bike here. Obviously, I would not recommend that. After at night necessarily. But just in regards to the proximity of downtown and Texas Tech, I would encourage them to use their bike. Honestly, I think it's becoming, they've added bike lanes. Obviously, it's a large city, and so I wouldn't necessarily say you could bike everywhere. But in regards to that, I would say definitely make friends, but maybe a bike.
Yep. Another thing to know is that our student engagement office on campus will do, and our student involvement folks will actually do expeditions out into the city. So they might go, I know that Catherine has mentioned Addledew Farms where the corn maze is. Sometimes they'll take students out to the corn maze. So make sure that your student is watching for those opportunities in their Tech Announcements emails or student organization emails and such, because that's a great way to get out there. All right, well, I want to thank Catherine. I know we are just a little bit past our time. If you are still typing questions right now, feel free to do so. We will answer those behind the scenes. But at this time, our presentation's over. Thank you so much for spending your time with us this afternoon. I have put our contact information on the screen for you. So feel free to reach out to us or to reach out to Catherine if you have questions. Maybe we didn't get to your question, and we'll be happy to answer those for you. Stay tuned for future webinars from our office that are again designed to help families understand how to be engaged and how to help your students here at Texas Tech. Our very next webinar comes up in October, and it's about study abroad. So if your student is thinking about studying abroad or is about to study abroad, this is a great webinar to sign up for at the very same link where you signed up for this one. So again, thanks to everyone. This is the end of our presentation. We will stay on and answer those questions that are in our Q&A queue. So thanks everybody. Have a great rest of your day.